Hello friends, welcome to Insights ICANN Initiative. In this video, we are going to discuss about weekly current issues. Already we started this program 3 weeks back, and I think this is going to be the weekly current issues, fourth one, I think so. All these weekly current issues are going to be in one playlist. If you miss out in case the previous weekly issues video, you can go and check that. And of course, this PPT is going to be the description. In the description link, I'll include this PPT in the Google Drive. You can refresh and you can download that one. So that is the one I can include. Now, the weekly current issues, the week 4, like I said earlier, in this week we are going to discuss about the 7 issues. One is the International Criminal Court, which is related to IR, international relations. Then in vitro fertilization related to S&T. PM Vishwakarma Yojana related to policies and schemes. Preventive detention, polity related. Tampara Lake, geography related. Debt for nature swap, economy related. Gabon is a country which went for this kind of debt for nature swap. I'll explain what does it mean. Mati banana, it is related to this GI tag, geographical indication tag. Tell me students, GI tags will be given by which ministry? Put your answer in the comment section. These are the 7 areas. Then in terms of the syllabus mapping, all these issues are going to be useful in the prelims point of view. Not only in the UPSC, even in your state public service commission exams also. Now the first video is going to be on the ICC, International Criminal Court. Before we discuss further, let us go through the basic differences between the ICC and ICJ. ICC and ICJ. ICC, it was established in 2002, whereas ICJ, International Court of Justice, in 1946. It is one of the United Nations principal organ, and it is popularly known as World Court. It referred as, like independent. ICC is an independent, whereas ICJ is a, like one of the integral part of the UNO. Both headquarters are present in The Hague, Netherlands. And ICJ, it also deals with the contentions, disputes between the nations, whereas ICC, it don't deal with the disputes between the nations. It generally prosecute individuals. The individuals who related to genocide and who are related to violation of human rights, those will be prosecuted by the ICC. So ICC mainly focus on individuals, whereas ICJ focus on nations and dispute between the nations, like Kulbhushan Jadhav case, which India and Pakistan we went to ICJ, and this funded by the UN, whereas ICC will be funded by the whichever the countries having membership in ICC, and some independent organizations, NGOs, and some philanthropists, individuals, they'll give the money to the ICC. This is the basic difference between the ICJ as well as the ICC. First, Russia recently announced that they put sanctions on the International Criminal Court prosecutors as well as the British ministers. So Russia is severely objecting the ICC involvement in the Russia's individuals as well as ICC willingness to prosecute the Russia's ministers and Russia's politicians. So Russia is not accepting this. Of course, Russia is not a member of ICC. So International Criminal Court. International Criminal Court, it is a permanent international criminal tribunal, and it was established in 2002, 1st July 2002, based on a statute that was made in 1998. It was popularly known as Rome Statute. Rome Statute, based on that, it came into existence in 2002. If you remember, in 2002, even the Biodiversity Act in India also, it was enacted in 2002. In the same year, we made the 86th Constitution Amendment Act. 86th Constitution Amendment Act 2002. Tell me students, 86th Amendment is related to which area or which issue? So now, ICC prosecute individuals related to genocide, mass killings such as Hitler genocide on the Jews, war crimes, crimes committed during the time of war times, crimes against humanity, and crimes of aggression. All these crimes comes under the jurisdiction of the ICC. And if any individual committed to these kind of crimes, they will be prosecuted by the ICC. Headquarters present in The Hague, members 123 countries, and very popularly prominent countries such as US, China, Russia, India, these are not having a membership in the ICC. That means we are not subscribed to the Rome Statute. Then funding, like I said earlier, there is no defined funding. Funding will come from the countries which signed the Rome Statute and some international organizations, individuals, and philanthropists, These are the people who give money to that. With respect to judges, there are like 18 judges are there. Each judge duration is 9 years, and once a person is retired as a judge, they won't be reappointed. They are not eligible to be appointed. Jurisdiction. So ICC, it covers the individuals, whereas ICJ, it deals with the dispute between the nations, like I said earlier in the introduction. ICC is only competent in following conditions. In which condition? The crime must be occur in a country which signed the Rome Statute, or else a person who committed the crime, the person must be related to the country which subscribed to the Rome Statute. So, or else sometimes UN Security Council also, they may refer some cases to the ICC. And the fourth condition is, in case in a particular country's judiciary is not involving, of course the country must be ICC subscriber. In that country, if the judiciary is not involving, then ICC can take the case suo motu and they can prosecute the person who committed to those kind of crimes. It came into existence since 1st of July 2002. It covers only offences committed after the 1st July 2002. Relation with UN. It is not a principal organ, it is having some cooperation agreement with UN. Even the UN Security Council, they can forward certain cases to ICC. So this is the first news regarding the ICC and Russia sanctions on the ICC officials. The second topic is going to be the SNT related, and this topic is mainly in vitro fertilization. Students, fertilization normally occurs inside the human body. Fertilization with respect to human is all about the fertilizing of egg and sperm. When this both fertilized, it resulted to embryo, and when embryo is implanted, placed within the uterus, then that will grows as a infant or fetus. Fetus grows as a baby. This is a natural phenomena, but due to some reasons, due to some health issues in male or female, this embryo as well as this egg as well as the sperm, those fertilization will be done outside of the human body. That means lab. That is known as in vitro fertilization. Always remember, in vitro means in the lab, in vivo means inside the human being. The same way in environment we study in situ, ex situ. Tell me students, what do you mean in situ and what do you mean ex situ? Okay, what do you mean? Tell me. So in the in vitro fertilization, the sperm as well as the egg, they both will be fertilized in lab condition, and once the embryo is found, that will be implanted in the woman's uterus. That is how the fertilization will be there. This is nothing but, in vitro fertilization is nothing but the assisted reproductive technology, ART. Okay. Now let's see. Goa became the first state in India to announce in vitro fertilization is a free for everyone. Very progressive step, we can understand. And Goa is the one which is also implementing the Uniform Civil Code. You know that Uniform Civil Code deal by Article 44. Goa got liberated in 1961 and 1961, and Goa got the statehoodship in 1987. In vitro fertilization, it is a type of the assisted reproductive technology. It will help the individuals who are facing the fertility related challenges. Process, already I explained the process. Next, the success depends on the reproductive capacity of the male as well as the female, and their age and their lifestyle. All these are the factors which influence the success of the in vitro fertilization. In which condition couple will go to in vitro fertilization? It may be due to the infertility, or it may be due to the low sperm count of the male, or it may be due to some problems in the fallopian tube of the woman where egg is not coming out, or when fallopian tube is removed. In this kind of condition, they will go to the in vitro fertilization. If the woman is not having the uterus, then in vitro fertilization won't work, because in the in vitro fertilization, the embryo has to be implanted in the uterus of the female. Sometimes if the uterus is taken out, then the embryo has to be implanted in some other female. That resulted to the surrogacy. You might have known that, surrogacy. Next, the third topic in today's video is the Prime Minister Vishwakarma Yojana. This topic is related to policies and schemes. Recently, it was approved by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, and how much money they allocated? Around 13,000 crores they allocated. The main objective of the scheme is to encourage artisans and to encourage people who are dependent on their the skill with hands, like craftsmen, to encourage these handicrafts and craftsmen and artisans, this scheme was launched. You know, the specialty of this scheme is this scheme is the central sector scheme. That means 100% of the money will come from the central government. Whereas a central sponsored scheme where central government gave funding based on the state, the funding will be either the 90:10 or 60:40. It depends on the state. This is about the central sector scheme where the 100% money come from the central government. Very, very important. Okay. How much money they allocated? 13,000 crores. And how many skills they are going to cover? Very, very important. 18 skills they are going to cover. You know, students, in India, total number of biosphere reserves, how many? 18. Sustainable development goals, 17. Ramsar sites, 51. These numbers you have to have an idea. Who are going to cover? Artisans and craft people. Here craft people means people who are dependent on their hands or legs for the particular performing of that particular skill. And whoever get trained in the skill, they'll provided with the ID card, and they will be given a certificate, and they will be provided the monetary assistance in two tranches, in two stages. First stage is 1 lakh rupee and the second stage is 2 lakh rupee with the concessional rate of interest. The rate of interest is 5%. Through this, individual skill will be upgraded, and as a part of this skill, as a part of this program, those individuals will be provided with a toolkit. The toolkit will be useful to perform that particular, skill. These are the 18 skills they are going to be covered in the first phase. Who approved this? Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. In polity class, I told you there are different cabinet committees are there. Okay, tell me, students, which cabinet committee very popularly known as super cabinet? Which cabinet committee popularly known as super cabinet? Tell me this. This is a central sector scheme, and the duration of this scheme is going for the 5 years to encourage the, obviously, this craftsmanship which reflects the relation between the guru and shishya, because are a family based practice. This craftsmanship is all about. That means it may be with the family or it may be the learning from a particular person. To encourage that, this scheme was launched. In this scheme, what will be developed, I already explained, and certificate will be given, and two stages, 1 lakh as well as 2 lakh will be given. And this scheme is consist of two level, basic level and advanced level. And when they are getting trained under this scheme, per day 500 rupees as a part of stipend also will be provided as a part of this scheme. So this is about the Prime Minister Vishwakarma Yojana. Next topic, we are going to discuss about the preventive detention. You know, the students, in polity class I told you Article 22 deals with the two types of detentions. Okay, Article 22 deals with the two types of detention, students. One is arresting after committing a crime. Okay, arresting after committing crime. And the second one is arresting a person before committing a crime. If you are arresting a person after they committed a crime, that is known as punitive detention. If you are arresting a person before they commit a crime, that is known as preventive detention. Preventive detention. You know, Article 22 Class 3 talks about preventive detention, and Article 22 Class 4 says that the preventive detention in generally it should not be more than 3 months. If you want to extend beyond 3 months, obviously you have to take the approval of the advisory committee, which consists of the judicial members. Advisory committee opinion must be taken, then only you can extend beyond the 3 months. This advisory committee consists of the people who are equivalent qualification with the High Court judges. That you have to know basically. Why we are discussing about this? Kerala High Court announced that the preventive detention must be used in a very rare cases. In cases where individual is a threat to the social, society, or individual is a threat to law and order, that means preventive detention should not be misused. In the preventive detention case, the person no need to be produced before the court within 24 hours. That is not applicable. That means whatever you learn in the Article 22 Clause 1, Article 22 Clause 2, they are not applicable. What you learn in the Article 22 Clause 1, it says that once a person is arrested, on what ground the person is arrested has to be informed, and the person must be provided with the legal assistance. These two present in Article 22 Clause 1. Article 22 Clause 2 says that once a person is arrested, he has to produce before the nearest magistrate within 24 hours. So these two clauses are not applicable in case of preventive detention. In preventive detention cases, there won't be no investigation and there won't be no charge sheet and there won't be no trial court. Simply the person will be arrested. That means there are very high chances that this preventive detention laws can be misused. Of course, preventive detention laws can be made by center as well as state. But there are certain issues, and those issues only Parliament can make laws. We'll discuss what are those issues. Okay, now let's see. Kerala High Court. Kerala High Court was saying that preventive detention can be used only in exceptional cases where the public order is disturbed or a person is detrimental or threat to the society. And preventive detention normally it goes for 3 months. Beyond 3 months, you have to take the permission from the advisory committee. What is the objective of the preventive detention? You are stopping a person before they committing a crime. That is a major objective of the preventive detention. Constitution provisions. We already discussed about Article 22, Class 1, Class 2, Class 3 and Class 4. Normally, in the preventive detention cases, a person has to be informed on what ground the person is arrested. But sometimes, if the arrest is related, if you tell the reason, if it is against the public importance, then state may not tell the reason. That means government may not tell the reason also. On preventive detention, both Parliament as well as state can make laws. But Parliament can make laws exclusively subjects related to defense, foreign affairs and security of India. On these areas, only Parliament can make laws. On the rest of the areas, such as maintenance of the essential supply of the goods or maintenance of the essential services, on those areas, maintenance of the public order, on these things, both center as well as state, both can make laws on the preventive detention. Let's see some of the examples related to preventive detention laws. National Security Act 1980, as well as the like UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967, and there are certain specific laws which are enacted by both state as well as center. Maintenance of Internal Security Act, of course, it was been repealed. Okay, so these are some of the laws made by both center and state. Here in the examination point of view, you have to remember on which areas only Parliament can make law with respect to preventive detention. That you have to know. Next topic we are going to discuss about Tampara Lake. There are some illegal mining is going in the Tampara Lake, and the court judiciary is given warning to Odisha government to stop such kind of Tampara Lake. Actually, the Tampara Lake is very near to Chilka Lagoon, so this entire area is a biosensitive area. In a biosensitive area, obviously we have to protect that particular thing, because these kind of lakes or wetlands, these are the ecotone. You know that, students, ecotone is nothing but changing from one ecosystem to another ecosystem. For example, grassland is an ecotone between the forest as well as desert. In an ecotone, generally biodiversity is very high. Okay, so these kind of high biodiversity areas we have to protect. Let's see. The Tampara Lake, National Green Tribunal, which branch? Eastern Zone. They given a notice or directed to the Odisha government not to go ahead with the illegal construction in the Tampara Lake. Tampara Lake is here, you have to remember, it is a freshwater lake and it is very near to Chilka Lagoon. So it's all about the biodiversity region. And this Tampara Lake, okay, this Tampara Lake is already placed under the Wetland Atlas, which is prepared by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in 2010. So it comes under the wetland, not the Ramsar one, but it is a wetland recognized by Government of India. Now, as we are discussing the NGT established through National Green Tribunal Act, which was made in 2010. The principal bench of the NGT located in Delhi and the various branches located in places such as Bhopal, Pune, Calcutta and Chennai. There are 4 places the NGT branches are there, or benches are there. Composition. Who will be there in the NGT? Chairperson and judicial members and expert members. The tenure, members' tenure is 5 years and they are not eligible to reappointment. Who will appointment? The chairman of this NGT is appointed by the union government in consultation with the CJI. CJI will be consulted. Okay, this is about the Tampara Lake. Next, we are going to discuss about a very peculiar condition, that is, we are going to discuss about a concept. In this concept, for example, international organizations, what they will go, they will give loan. Okay, for which country? Any countries which are facing with the heavy debt. But these countries, whoever took this loan, these countries, they don't need to repay. Okay, in which condition? If they fulfill certain commitments related to climate. If they fulfill certain commitments related to climate, then they don't need to repay the money. That means, for example, they have to grow certain amount of the forest, or they have to take care about the environment. That means because of the nature, your debt will be waived off. This particular process is known as debt for nature swap. For improving the nature or for conserving the nature, you don't need to pay your debt. This is a debt for nature swap. Recently, which country went for this kind of debt for nature swap? The Gabon. Gabon is a West African country. Regarding the West African country, recently we discussed about the Niger. Okay, now Gabon, it took some debt and it swapped the debt with the nature. That means they are going to improve the nature, or they are going to spend certain amount on the climate change. Now let's see. Gabon announced that around $500 million debt for nature swap, which is the largest of such kind of deal. Who are going to give this money? Some of the international financial institutions, or some of the international organizations which are promoting the environment. Like I said earlier, debt for nature swap, it allows the countries which are having the debt, they can take the help from the financial institution and they don't need to pay their debt. They don't need to pay their debt in case if they fulfill the commitments related to the conservation of nature. So this is about the debt for nature swap. It was first proposed in 1984 by Thomas Lovejoy. He proposed this. And the first country which used this provision was, so which country used? Bolivia. Bolivia is a country which used in 1987. They took the loan of around $650,000 and in return they took some initiative to conserve the Amazon basin conservation. This was about the debt for nature swap. Of course, this is going to be useful for both creditors as well as the debtors. Creditors here, they are promoting the climate change initiative against the climate change. They are promoting the afforestation and all these things. Debtors, they don't need to repay the debt and they can improve their own climate also. So it's a kind of win-win situation. So now because of this reason, it is going to be very popular in future. The next topic we are going to discuss, that is about the Kanyakumari Matti banana. The specialty of this banana variety, even though you grow this banana plant in some other places also, it don't give that kind of taste and that it don't give that kind of smell. It is only in that particular area this gives. That is the reason. Recently this Matti banana, it got the geographical indication tag. Okay, so geographical indication tag. These bananas, they are unique in shape. Okay, unique in shape. And this Matti banana grows in which area? Kanyakumari area. Once a particular product got geographical indication tag, it valid for 10 years. After 10 years, again you have to renew. Okay, Matti banana of the Kanyakumari, they got the geographical indication tag. Around 6 varieties are there in the Matti banana, and they are unique to the climate and soil of that particular area. And this Matti banana is very popular as a baby banana because of its ingredients. Again, very popular for baby food. So it is known as baby banana. And even though they grow in some other areas, they won't give this kind of taste. Either Matti bananas, fingers, wind blown appearance. Like I said earlier, this kind of wind blown appearance, the curvy kind of fingers they show. Geographical indication tag. If a particular product is a particular to a particular region, it is known as geographical indication, and that is special for that region only. In that condition, we will give the geographical indication tag. It may be applicable to agriculture products, foodstuff, wine, spirit drinks, handicrafts, and industrial products. So whichever the state you are from, so mention geographical indication tag of your state. Okay, if you remember anything. And the geographical indication tag will be given according to the Geographical Indication of Goods Act 1999. The students, in the year 1999, FEMA Act was made, and even the Kargil War was also occurred in 1999. The geographical indication tag will be given for 10 years. After 10 years again, the person has to be renew this geographical indication tag. Now let's see the MCQs which we discussed in the last class. Which of the following protected areas are located in the Kaveri River Basin? Which one? In the Kaveri River Basin. Mudumalai Wildlife Sanctuary as well as the Bandipur National Park, they comes under the Kaveri River Basin, whereas Periyar Tiger Reserve and Silent Valley National Park, they don't fall under the Kaveri River Basin. Now we'll see today's question. Okay. So today's question is, consider the following statement regarding the International Criminal Court. So I read these three statements and pick which statement is correct. It has jurisdiction. It is talking about the jurisdiction, and it is talking about the member countries, and it is talking about its association with UN. Next question. Consider the following statement regarding the Kulida Wildlife Sanctuary. First, this question is focused on its location and its region, in which region it is present. Okay. And this third one is the Gandhi Nagar Declaration, recently seen in news. It is related to which one of the following? Of course, I revealed this answer: elimination of TB, tuberculosis. And these are the MCQs of today's class. As we reach to the end of this video, so let us summarize. As a part of this weekly current affairs program, this is the week 4, and in this week 4 current issues program, we discussed about all the 7 issues in today's video. This is about the detailed analysis on the weekly current issues.